After years of feeling isolated, awkward, and unsure how to connect with people, you finally take the one piece of advice that's been beaten into your head by every self-help video and forum. Hopefully, you've accepted that pacing to the fridge between Fortnite rounds doesn't count as exercise, and maybe you've realized that the wake up, work, solo gym session, eat, sleep routine is slowly crushing your spirit and turning you into a gym cell. To be fair, it's not entirely your fault. Modern life hasn't been designed to help young men thrive either socially or physically. But let's be real, you don't need another half-baked dopamine detox or monk mode journal entry about your cold shower epiphanies. What you actually need is good old sports. Something raw, physical, and social to snap you out of the spiral. Let's talk about the sports that you should start immediately, depending on your personality type, your style, your skill levels, and just what you enjoy doing. First and foremost, there is a reason most guys who play sports seem confident, outgoing, assertive, cool, and less likely to have an anime girl or a picture of a statue of a Greek philosopher as their profile picture. Sports give you reps, physical reps, emotional reps, social reps. You learn about conflict resolution, you learn about how to overcome struggle, you learn about how to lose without crying. Basic human experiences and skills that most terminally online dudes haven't had since like PE in school. It's one of the few remaining places where it's just like being a dude is just kind of like allowed with, you know, some restrictions, but you're supposed to be aggressive, loud, competitive. You get to move your body, test yourself, and you get to belong to something bigger, a story bigger than your curated depression playlist on Spotify. You could even make friends, learn how to talk to people, learn how to interact with people, and
you might even stop flinching every time the supreme Giga Stacy gym baddie with the ultra cheeked up leggings makes eye contact with you.
You've probably like already started the gym, and that's like the good first step for most guys to, you know, on their self-improvement journeys and their kind of like glowing up journeys and just becoming men. And that's great, but for a lot of guys, the gym alone just might not be enough. And for a lot of people, their ambition starts and ends with the squat rack. The truth is, the gym just isn't very social. You might get lucky. You might end up meeting a few friends and building a community in the gym. Like you might even do that if you're like some naturally extroverted fucking wanker, maybe. That's not me. And for most people, the gym is just like the solo hour. And for a lot of people, it just ends up in like a doom spiral. Like you go to the gym, you're consistent with it, you built a great physique, it's brilliant, but like you literally have nothing else. You've no social life and you still do all the bad habits with social media and consumption and all, like, you know, whatever you do, vaping, smoking. You have that same routine of just wake up, scroll, work, lift, sleep, repeat for months on end. And that was me for so long. That was me for like a certain periods. I definitely got into that kind of rut. And you need more. Like the gym is great, keep going, keep getting jacked, but you need more. There's not much community in gym. So going through my list of sports, number one, I'm gonna have the very bog standard martial arts. So like the boxing and maybe jiu-jitsu, wrestling, that kind of thing. MMA, karate, kung fu now. You do need to get hit in the face at least once in your life. Martial arts and boxing have been kind of like the go-to for like every single fucking Manosphere influencer. And for good reason. They teach discipline, confidence, and that kind of unspoken don't mess with me energy. I did boxing in college and even a little bit after college, and it was fun. I even got to have a spar, you know, and it was great. I learned quite a bit, but honestly, it just was never for me. I'm just not the fighting type. Some guys are warriors, you know, just their personality type. And if that's you, go all in, but that's not everyone. I know it's tempting to pretend that is you, because like the whole Andrew Tate sphere of the world for the last 3 years have kind of made it seem like, oh no, like you're not a real man if you don't wake up every morning with, you know, thirsting to knock some dude out.
Andrew, okay, you have to become an athlete. Do you want to be able to destroy men with your bare hands for the rest of your human life?
But no matter how much I went and how much I, you know, tried to immerse myself in it, the idea of getting hit in the face every day or most days, or the idea of breaking someone else's nose, just isn't really something that excited me to get up in the morning, you know, for good reason.
I kind of like my nose unbroken.
You're not any less of a man because you don't want cauliflower ear or, you know, fucking bruised shins all year round. And if you're not like fully excited by it or really into it, it'll be obvious whenever you go to any of these clubs. The trainers just aren't going to take you seriously, and they're gonna ignore you, and they're only going to pay attention to their more like, you know, reliable and experienced fighters, unless you pay for like one-on-one coaching or whatever. You'll end up showing up, you know, being all alone, staying alone in the corner and just smacking a bag like it's your meat on a Thursday night. It is quite hard to get like one-on-one attention, which is what you really need. It's hard to get the attention of the trainers because there's usually so many people and only like a handful of trainers here and there. So the boxing I did in college was, you know, it was alright. The boxing club I went to after college that I just went and I found the biggest one to join, and it was... ugh. We were in like a very, very cramped, you know, boxing gym, very cramped like area. It was full, I'd say at least like 22 million fucking kids from the age of 5 all the way to, you know, late 20s, 30s sometimes. That's the issue with like a sport like, you know, sports like boxing and karate and sometimes even MMA. It's like people start them, kids start them from like a really young age. So if you're as an adult or as like someone in their 20s and you want to join, you're probably going to be in with a load of like little kids who are like from the ages of 5. Like I was in and I was like, wait, most of the people here are like under 13. And they're all kids who have been fighting there and like they've been boxing basically since so they could barely walk. Yeah, so the boxing club, it was very cramped. You could barely move. There was no space to do much really because of how cramped it was. And just full of kids. Impossible, really hard to get the attention of the trainers. They're all focused on the fighters who've all been going to the same club for like 10 years, including the kids who've been training at that club for 10 years, and they've all known each other for however long. And yeah, that can kind of be the issue. So that's why second on the list, I have still martial arts, but kind of more niche, more adult kind of martial arts. So like I'm Muay Thai and kickboxing, and I guess BJJ Jiu-Jitsu kind of would fall into this, maybe, I don't know. So this solves the issue of being around 5-year-olds, because like I think with kickboxing and Muay Thai, they're kind of like niche enough where it's like it's only really the adults who are going to be going into it. Kids will learn boxing as like a kind of a basic, the more base and like martial arts sport, and then as they get older they'll pick up more of the stuff with like the extra gay techniques or whatever. So yeah, Muay Thai, kickboxing, people tend to pick them up in their late teens or their 20s, so it might be a better choice than generic boxing. In general, I think martial arts I can appreciate, even though it wasn't really for me. It's never something that I was excited to dedicate myself to. I can see where it's beneficial and where a lot of guys might like it. Punching people is great cardio. What can I say? You learn rhythm, discipline, you learn footwork, and you learn to have an ego that's finally backed up by real skills. Number 3, I have ball sports. So generally team sports with a ball. The big ones are basketball, football, and then obviously it's like whatever local kind of ball sports you have, whether it's Gaelic football or baseball, or if you're in America, yeah, baseball or American football or that kind of thing. Australian football. Now here's the thing with team sports. It's literally, you have a built-in social life. It comes with its own built-in social circle. You'll probably suck at first, but you know, just give it a shot, run, sweat, pass, and fail, and get up and do again, and just try really hard. You'll make friends just by showing up consistently and not acting like a tryhard. These are generally the staple sports, the ones that are kind of renowned worldwide, especially football and basketball. Football like soccer, well, it's actually called football. The only thing here that will get in your way is talent. Yes, talent. I really like football and I've played it like casually for years now, but kind of no matter how much I've done it, no matter how much I've practiced, I'm just not good enough to actually play it at any club. or get chosen for any club, because it requires actual talent and actual more as well as practice. Most of the sports that we're going to talk about here are ones that that you can kind of master or get good enough at with enough practice and dedication and training. Traditional kind of ball sports like football or basketball or American football, a lot of it is just like talent, natural talent that you can't learn, and if you don't have it, it's probably not for you. And hey, for something like basketball, the natural talent is just height half the time, or I think at least 70% of it is height, and you can't really do anything about that. You can try as much as you like, it probably won't be for you.
But hey, you're probably used to choosing things that don't choose you back.
Number 4, rugby. Now I know what you're thinking, and yeah, usually I'd only include real sports in things like this.
But in the spirit of Pride Month, I thought I'd include it here just to show my support.
Number 5, we got Ultimate Frisbee, a true dark horse as I found out recently. Ultimate is genuinely, it's fast, it's energetic, it's athletic, there's skill involved, and you're around high energy, social people who actually like being outside. You'll get to practice your cardio, your agility, and you'll be around kind of like mixed, co-ed, mixed gender community that's very kind of cool. They're fun, low ego, and weirdly cultish. But hey, you can't say much. You're probably in Hamza's cult, and you'll finally have an excuse to run without it being a police chase. I've joined this recently, which is probably the only reason it's here, and let me tell you, it's been great to keep busy, to actually be outside and enjoy and make use of the great summer weather. They've kept my weeks busier and more exciting, less on technology, less on the phone, and I've met some pretty sound people as well. Number 6, we have some more solo sports, so we've got running, climbing, calisthenics, gymnastics, that kind of thing, yoga even. So if your team sports aren't your thing, you can kind of join these kind of things, the athletics kind of sports. It'll still build confidence and it'll still put you around people, because a lot of these things, obviously you join a club, the running club or whatever. Running clubs have gotten really big recently, especially, amongst younger people, funny enough. You'll still be around other people, but it's still like a solo, because the performance is just dependent on you. It's kind of like a solo sport. Most climbing gyms are full of people who are chill, cool, and surprisingly jacked. There's plenty of running clubs around that you can join, if you're a 35-year-old white woman watching this. From everything I've read and heard, they can be quite good, and they're co-ed as well, I think. If you're a fat fuck, don't worry, they're not going to leave you behind. They'll ease you into it as a beginner, They're not going to be racing ahead of you and you're just going to be sitting there or running there on your own at the back or something. At least I'd assume not, or from everything I've heard. They will ease you into it, and they'll make sure whenever they go out for their runs, everyone's kind of together. And I feel like it's the same with all kind of ball sport. I mean, I can speak for Frisbee. Most Frisbee clubs will have for total beginners, or total people who've never played before, they'll have social Frisbee. They'll have the beginner / the social Frisbee, where newbies can just kind of turn up and, get eased into it and do very non-serious drills, and then they can kind of go into the more serious team trainings if they're confident enough or they're good enough and they want to join there. And I think most ball sports, I think rugby and football and basketball will all have kind of social teams or beginner teams to join. Number 7, we've got the more niche sports, so swimming, flag football, tag rugby, rowing, that kind of thing. I think tennis as well. I know tennis isn't very niche, but you know what I mean. Bottom line is there'll be a club for everything. If there's a particular thing that you remember that you really enjoyed doing back in PE and school and stuff, there'll be a club for it. Go find it. If you want an amazing giga back to rival most fucking roided meatheads, then rowing might be for you. If you don't mind getting wet, of course. If you're white, join a swimming club. Pick something and go. Doesn't matter if it's trendy or if Andrew Tate says, it's cool or not, or if it's obscure. The key is to show up, play hard, and stop being a hermit. Sports and sports clubs often become kind of our third places or third spaces. You've probably heard on social media and stuff the concept that we're losing our third spaces. We don't have third spaces. So the idea of a third space is traditionally you would have had your school or work, you'd have had your home, and you'd have had a third place in your community that you spend time in regularly, weekly or daily. And that kind of covered all your kind of social needs and your basic needs. So like whatever your income/education, your home needs, and then your social needs are covered by your third space. So it would have been either like a charity, volunteering, community center, or church or mosque or whatever, somewhere that you go to regularly, that you know the people there and you kind of meet them and you see them every day or every week. We've kind of lost that in the modern day, in like Western kind of societies. People don't really have third spaces anymore. It's kind of like people go through the same cycle of eat, sleep, work, repeat, and it's just kind of the two spaces. And third spaces like gyms and stuff like that are not really social places. Third spaces were traditionally thought of as like the social glue that keeps communities together and keeps them healthy and like connected. And sports clubs, they are real third spaces. You know, you've connection, you've banter, you've, you know, working towards a common goal together with people.
Also, just to add a disclaimer, don't be weird.
Don't come across as desperate or join anything just to try and pull or whatever. These clubs are a great way to join, try and socialize and expand your social circle, which will holistically improve your life for sure. But if you're joining something with the express intention to go prey on girls or whatever, it'll be really obvious, and you'll just come across, you'll give off really weird energy, and yeah, just don't do that. When you're active, sweating, and you're very driven and focused on something difficult, like whatever thing you're doing, then you kind of stop being weird at that point. When you're constantly busy during your week, you know, you either work or school, your gym, you know, whatever social life you have, and then you add like a sport to that, that's perfect. It gives you less time to rot. It gives you less time to do like the shitty habits that kind of kill your spirit, like social media scrolling or content consumption, or like doom media consumption, or overthink. If I think back, the time that I was probably at my most confident in myself was probably when I was at my busiest, was when the time where I constantly have stuff going on, constantly was either doing this thing or that thing, or had to be at that place. And I was really confident at that time just because I had no time to sit and overthink, you know? And it'll also stop that kind of, you know, that time zap. As you get older, time just starts flying by and you kind of notice the weeks and months and years just kind of go by like it's nearly 2026 now, you know? But you can kind of slow that down by keeping yourself busy. You're adding new experiences and new memories for you so that time just doesn't go as fast. Because the reason time goes fast when you're older is because as you get older, the number of new experiences and new memories, the number of firsts you go through get less and less, and new experiences and memories are the way our brain catalogs time. So the less of them you have, the more it's just going to feel like time's going to go faster. So this is a way to stop yourself getting old fast, essentially. More benefits: you gain social status without the need to be like rich or famous or whatever. You gain that aura of an athlete, not because of crystals, because you've earned your stripes getting punched, running, tackling, and pushing your limit around other like-minded dudes. You become more relaxed and stop overthinking. As I said, you're kind of in your body, you're kind of moving free in your body rather than trapped in your anxious mind. And like, people will notice, guys will notice, girls will notice, people will actually smile at you again, you know, provided you don't look like a Chernobyl's experiment. And no, this isn't about becoming like a jock. This is about becoming a man who's not afraid of life, who can take a hit, who shows up, and who gets the job done. So yeah, you don't need to become a pro athlete or go any further or compete like at any high level for this. Just be able to survive and compete at whatever level, whatever entry level you have. And if you're really good at it and you really like it and you can see yourself doing it, then obviously go and take it further. Pick one of these sports, go suck at it, and then get better. It's either that or keep simping for YouTubers and streamers and keep arguing with strangers on Reddit. Your choice, Western man.